Hi guys, in today's video we will learn to write a VBA code to merge all the workbooks, to merge all the sheets of all the workbooks in the specified folder. So to do this, first we need to create the code. So let's go to the Visual Basic editor. To go to the editor, what we have to do is either we can use the shortcut key, which is Alt F11, or we can go to the developer tab, and in the developer tab we have a command to go to the editor, that is Visual Basic, right? So I'm just clicking on this. After clicking on the command button, what we get this window to write the code. To write the code, we need to insert a module. To insert the module, we will go to the insert menu, and then here is an option to insert the module. And now we have module 1 here, so we will be writing code here. Let's start writing our code. First we have to write here option explicit. These statements help us to, like, we have to declare the variable first, then we can use that variable. Otherwise it will be of variant type, which will take extra memory. So to save our memory and to avoid errors, we use this statement. Then we have to declare a public variable that will be prior calc mode. We will be using this variable in a sub procedure. I'll let you know about that procedure later. So now we have to declare a sub procedure here. Let's name this sub procedure as to combine all worksheets of Excel workbooks in a folder. Now this is the sub procedure which we will be using to merge all the sheets of Excel workbooks. So first we have to declare some variables. The first variable will be as workbook. The name will be master workbook as workbook. We need this variable to store to have a workbook, to store the workbook in which we will be merging all the worksheets of all the Excel workbooks of a folder. Now the second variable will be current workbook as workbook. Again, this variable we will be using to loop through all the workbooks in the specified folder. The third variable is folder path as string. As we have to merge all the worksheets of all the workbooks of a specified folder, we need to declare a variable of string type to get the folder path from the user to get that folder. Now the next variable will be file name. This we will be using to get the names for all the files for all the workbooks in a folder. And now next one will be sheet as worksheet. We will be using this sheet variable to look through all the worksheets of all the workbooks in the folder to merge them. And two more variables. The first one is output file folder as string. This variable to store the folder path in which we have to store the master workbook, and we will be getting this again from the user. And one output file name as string. So we will be using this variable to store the file name, and we will be using a mechanism to store the file name. Let's see. Now after declaring all the variables, now we will define on error go to statement, so that after declaring all the variables, we will write a code to handle the errors. After declaring all the variables, now we will write a statement to handle all the errors. That statement will be like on error go to combine all worksheets of Excel workbooks in a folder, and then error. Right, so we have to specify this statement. Let's do that. We will be writing here like 2. We will just copy this, copy, and then paste here, and then after this we need to specify here the code which needs to be run when error occurs. So we need to define a function that will be code booster when an error occurs. So first we need to define this function. So let's define that function here. So I'm writing here, this function will be public, so this function can be called from anywhere. Then the keyword function, define a function, then the function name, in our case is code booster, and it will be taking an argument that will be speed mode as boolean. So either it can take true or false as an argument. So now we have to define this function. Let's define this. We will be using with statement here, as we need to call application object again and again. So I will be using here with statement with application object. So I'm adding here and with. Now I want like if the user provides speed mode as true, then I want different code to be run. So speed code, if speed mode is true, then I want, we had declared a variable here that is public prior calc mode as variant. We will be using this variable here. So I'll be writing here prior calc mode is equal to applications calculation, like whatever calculation mode is now, like whether it is automatic or manual, it will be taken in this variable. The next statement will be, I want the screen updating feature of the application to be false, like I want to speed up the process, so I'll make it as false. Then another property of application object, that is screen updating, I have done for that. That is display alerts, I want this also to be false. And then next property of application object, that is enable events, I want this also to be false, as I want to increase the speed of the code when we have to run the code. And then the cursor of the application, I want to be accelerate, and then calculation to be manual, so that it doesn't take much time to run the code, which I'll be specifying in my sub procedure, the calculation mode to be manual. Else, if the code has not to be run, an error occurs, in that case I want these properties to be true. So I'll be specifying here screen updating to be true, then display alerts to be true, enable events to be true, and then cursor of the application to be default, and then calculation to be the same as prior calc mode. Okay, so I have to AND if here, as if statements AND here. So this is the code for this function. We have done this. So we will be calling this function here when an error occurs, and we will be giving false as an argument here, as we don't want the application to be faster, right? So this code will be run in that case. After this statement runs, I want a message box to be displayed, so I'll be writing here message box, and I want direct description to be displayed to the user so that he gets to know what he is doing in a wrong way so that he can correct himself. Then the error number, I want this box to be VBA critical, and the title of the box to be excellent msexcel. This is the name for our channel. Please subscribe to our channel so that you can get to know about more videos and more Excel features which you can use in your work life. So this is the code which will be run when an error occurs. After this, we need to write our code where we had left. So we were writing this code here. So after writing this statement, when an error occurs, we want the code to go to this statement. After that, we will specify here code booster. If the error doesn't come, in that case we want the code booster to be run with 2 as an argument so that the speed of the process is fast. Now after this, we need to call the FileDialog property of the application object to have a folder picker dialog box so that the user can input the folder for the files from where we need to get the files to merge them. So we will be using with statement here as we will be using the FileDialog property of the application object again and again. So we will be writing here application FileDialog, and then we need to specify our dialog type, FileDialog type, so that will be a folder picker as we need to get the folder. So folder picker, and then we need to add the statement here. We line this. The title of the dialog box I want to be like this: select folder for input files. Then button name for the dialog box to be confirm. The confirm text will appear on the button, and then if the user select some files, select a folder, and in that case the show property of this FileDialog object will be -1. In that case, I want to get the folder path, so we have a variable that is folder path which we can use to get the folder name. So selected items, and then we want the first element of this array to be taken in our folder path variable, and then we want a slash here as we need to take the path. After getting the folder to get the files, we need to get the output folder where we will be saving the master workbook. So again we will be using the with statement here, and then the FileDialog object of the application object which will provide us a FileDialog object to get the output file folder from the user. So again we will be picking the same dialog box, that is folder picker, and then again the same way we will add the statement. Here we have to write the code like the title for the dialog box, which will be select output folder, and then button name. Again we are making it as confirm, and then if the user picks a name, selects a folder, in that case we want to save that folder name in our variable. The name of the variable is output file folder. we have to save the first item of the array, so selected items and then the first item of the array, then and if end of the if statement and end with. So we have written code for getting the output file folder from the user. Now we have to set the output file name. Output file name, we have a variable for this output file name. Then we want the file name to be started with the word master file, and then we want the time. We want to format the time, so at whatever time the file will be created, that time will be taken, and then we want the format to be 4 times y means the year, and then month, then date, then hours, then minutes, seconds in AM or PM. So this is the format. I am using here the format function to format the time. After setting the output file name, now we need to go through all the files to get the sheets of the files in our master workbook. So first we have to set the master workbook. So master workbook, this is our variable. I am adding a workbook in workbook collections to create the master workbook, and then file name, this is our variable. I am using here directory function. Directory function, dir function, returns the files which we returns the file from the path name which we specify in this first argument. So we have the path in our variable, that is folder path, right? So we have to specify that here, folder path, and then / to specify the path, and then we just want to take all the Excel files, so star and then xls extension for all Excel files, and then bracket close. So dir function will take the first file of Excel from this path to merge the sheets of that file into our master workbook. Now we want all the files to be taken, so we will be using here do while loop till the file name is not empty, and then we have to end this loop using the loops keyword, and then we have to write code in between. So first we have to check whether we are doing right or wrong. So folder path and then file name, and then we will be setting the current workbooks. We have to open a workbook. We have to specify the file name, and that is file name. File name we have to take from the folder path. So folder path and file name, right? And then will it be read only? Read only, true. And then update links, whether we want to update the links of the files which we are opening to merge them into our master workbook. No, we don't want. So update links will be set to false, and in the next statement we will be using the for loop to get all the sheets from the files. For each sheet in current workbook sheets, next sheet, and the code in between to copy the sheet from the current workbook into our master workbook. After we want to copy after master workbook's first sheet. So this is our code. Then we want the current workbook to be closed, as we need to open the next workbook from the folder. So close, false. We don't want to save any changes, right? So false for that. And then again we have to use the directory dir function here to get other file name in the sequence, to merge that workbook with the master workbook. So this is the end for our do while loop. At last, after getting all the workbooks, all the sheets from all the workbooks into the master workbook, we have to save the master workbook. So we will be using master. We have a variable master workbook. We have to save this file, so save as. Then the first argument for the function is file name. So we have to specify the file name here. So file name. We have the output folder where we have to save the file. Output file folder. Then the forward slash to specify the path, and then the file name. So we have a variable for that, output file name. Then the second argument is file format. So the file format is Excel open XML workbook. So we have saved the master workbook here. Then we have to call the code booster function here, and with the false as speed mode. And as we have to show a dialog box to the user, and then we have to close the master workbook, and we want to save the changes. So true here to save changes. And at last we have to show a message box to the user to let him know that macro has successfully completed the task. So we want just information dialog box, and the title of the dialog box to be a channel, that is Excel and msexcel, so that the user gets. After writing all the code, we have to save this workbook. So I am saving this workbook in the location I am choosing here, desktop, merging workbooks. We have written a macro, so we have to choose here Excel macro enabled workbook as an extension for the file, and then save. After saving the file, let's run this code to see what happens and how does it run. So we have to run this code. So here is the run button, run, and without width. Let me check out. And without width. We have not and the if statement here, that's why we are getting this error here. So and if, then Control S, then again run this macro, type declaration character does not match declare data type, folder path. We have to specify here correctly. This was the extra character here. Control S. Let's check again. Now select folder for input files. I have to select a folder to get the input files. That means we need to provide a folder to get the workbooks to merge the sheets of them. So I have a folder my work to show, confirm, then select output folder. So I am selecting here mobile data or any other folder I can select. So I am choosing here new folder, confirm. Now As we can see, the files are getting merged here. We need to wait for the process to be completed. There are more than 20 files, that's why it's taking time. We need to wait. Process completed successfully. Okay, let's see if we have the file we have just created in our specified folder. E-location, then new folder. Yes, we have a file here. This is like today is 13th of Feb 2023, and now it is 6:14, 6 hours 14 minutes and 46 seconds. So this is our file. Let's open it and see. As we can see, we have a lot of sheets here. If I really want to see how many sheets do I have here, I can just check out here. So we can see the task which could take at least half an hour has been done in just a couple of minutes, right? In 2 or 3 minutes we can say. So this was for this video. Thank you very much for watching the video. Please subscribe to our channel, that is Excellent MS Excel, for more such type of videos to get the knowledge about MS Excel. Thank you so much.